Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Well, no, I was supposed to say happy Money Marketing Monday with Niala. I am super excited for another training. Okay, you guys can hear me. So, one of the things that I do whenever I'm going live is I listen to music and stuff. And today I didn't because I actually did about an hour ago. I was looking at the performance with J-Lo and Shakira last night, and I was just on. So, fun fact about me, I love music. I absolutely love dancing. Before, when I was younger, I wanted to be a pediatrician. So, like every kid says they want to be a pediatrician. So, I wanted to be a pediatrician. But then as I got older and I got into, I would say like 11 years old, 12 years old, I wanted to be the next Whitney Houston. I wanted to be a performer. My mom, before I went to the group home, I remember she got this radio station or a guy that had a radio station in his house or a setup. And my cousins and I did a CD. I swear I was going to be an artist. I was going to be a dancer. So I love dancing. You guys probably see me put out videos with me rapping and dancing, and that's because I love music. So anyway, it's Monday. I'm happy. I'm happy every day, but I'm especially happy on Monday because we get to start the week over again. And Money Marketing Monday is not only about me coming and bringing you marketing content and messaging and all this great stuff for you to grow your business, but it's also setting the tone for the week. So that is the reason why when you see me come, I'm excited. I get dressed for you. I do all of this, right? Because it's the beginning of the week and you got to start the week off with that type of energy, right? So anyway, today we are talking about how to confidently step into premium positioning. This is just in continuation of what we've been talking about since the year started, because positioning is important, marketing is important, messaging is important. And if you want to be able to reach your goals, like getting more clients, your profit goals, all of the things that we're going to talk about today, this is important. How you are positioned, how people see you is really, really important. Okay. So let me say good morning, Juanita. Hey, darling. Hey, Rajanique. Hey, Carissa. So yeah, this is going to be good. Make sure you guys get your notes, your pens, your pads, all of that, because this is going to be really good. Now, why is this topic important to me? First thing is I want to help save you time. And the reason why I'm saying save you time is because the information I'm going to share with you today is what I wish I knew in the beginning. All right. And I believe that you getting this information and it's going to help you in so many ways. You getting this information is going to help you save time, the same amount of time that it took me to learn what I'm going to share with you today. So if you're new, welcome to the group. Quick, like 1 minute snippet about me is that I started from the bottom, right? And so that means that I learned through trial and error, okay? So I wasn't someone that was really in a position to invest in the beginning. I learned on a lot of free webinars. I spent my nights on YouTube. I became a professional YouTube learner, okay? And I learned how to do a lot of this stuff, and that takes time. So with me coming and giving you this information, I believe this is going to help you save time. Another thing, I believe this is going to take you out of the frustration that you're feeling. So a lot of you right now, you're in a position where you're not getting enough clients. You're not being paid what you're worth. Okay. And because of that, it is taking you longer to reach profit goals. And we have to talk about this. So I know that some of you want to change the world. You have all the like me, I know that I have so many things that I want to do. But the reality is that if I'm not making the income, I'm not able to do that. And you need to see that reality too, right? So in order for you to reach your profit goals, you got to be able to position yourself to make the type of money that you need. And right now, many of you are not in that position. So I just want you to give me a 1 below if you know that you're not in that position right now. So I speak to coaches a lot. And whenever they tell me, well, I'm not getting enough clients, or I'm not attracting the right people, or I'm getting on the phone with people, I'm hearing a lot of no's. Whenever I trace it back, it always falls into 2 categories. You ready for this? Make sure you're writing this down. First category is lack of foundation. And positioning, what we're going to talk about today, is a part of the foundation. So it always traced back to two things. Number one, lack of foundation or lack of system. Okay, so write that down. Lack of foundation or lack of system. Because hear me out, guys. With the right foundation and the right system backing you up, profit is inevitable. Put that below. Profits is inevitable. Okay. So whenever I trace it back, it always turns out to be one of those things. Now, I'm not going to talk about system today, but we're going to talk about positioning, which is a part of your foundation. All right. So, what does the word premium mean? I looked it up, and here's what I found. And if you guys see me looking, it's because the computer is right here. So, a high value or a value in excess of that normally or usually expected. I'm going to say that again. So, a high value or a value in excess of that normally or usually expected. So what that really means is that your product or your service is perceived as a higher value than to be expected. So that means if right now you are not charging what you're worth and you are trying to be, cheaper because you think that that's going to bring you more people, and you're speaking that type of language, what you're doing is you're giving the perception that your service is not valuable. All right. And when we talk about premium, what is it saying? High value. All right. So when you hear the word premium, when you hear the word exclusive, when you hear the word signature, right? When you go into a restaurant and you have a signature cocktail or signature drink, what is that perception? The perception is this is different. Write this down, guys. Right? Because there's this show. I don't even want to jack this story up. I forgot the show. I was watching it the other day. There's this show that my client told me about on Netflix called Schitt's Creek. Okay. It's the funniest show ever. And the son was planning a party and they're like, they used to be rich, right? And so rich people, they like experiences, right? So they was getting ready to plan a party. And the first thing he said is, okay, we have to make a list of all the A-listers in the town, and we got to come up with a signature cocktail. So that's where I got that from, right? And that's because when you think of premium, you think of high value. So let me give you another truth bomb. You cannot position yourself because premium positioning has nothing to do with you positioning yourself. It has everything to do with how people perceive your service. Does that make sense, guys? Now, you can do things like what I'm going to give you today. I'm going to give you 6 ways, and you can do these things, but you're doing it in hopes that the perception will change. Does that make sense? Give me a 1 below if that makes sense for you guys, okay? Give me a 1 below if that makes sense for you, all right? So premium is a high value or value in excess of that normally or usually expected. Let's talk about why. Hey, Anita, how are you? Happy Monday. Let's talk about why you want to step into premium positioning. All right. And then I'm going to give you, not only are we going to talk about why, we're going to talk about some mistakes you're going to make that you're probably making. And then I'm going to give you 6 things that you could do right now and then you could start doing to start changing the perception of your business. Because many of you, the reason why you're not being paid what you're worth, the reason why you're not being seen as a signature brand is because you have not put the things in place for people to see that. Does that make sense? So I want to tell you today what those things are. Okay. So first, let's start with why you want to step into premium positioning. Number 1, you want to stop competing on price. I wrote this in my email that I sent you guys an hour ago. So number 1, you want to stop competing on price. Number 2, you want to charge what you're worth. Just give me some hearts, give me some likes if these are the things that you want. Number 3, you want to be able to have a more premium and committed client, right? So one of my clients, when I asked her what's the reason why she decided to join the Market Your Message program, her exact words is that she felt like, number 1, her message was falling on deaf ears. And number two, the people that did join her program, they were not committed. So what they would do is that they would make that first payment, and then when it was time to make that second payment, they were not committed. They started to drop off. They were not a committed client. All right. So if you want to work with more committed clients, give me some hearts and some likes. If you want to be able to reach your business goals faster, that's why you want to step into premium positioning, as well as if you want to get out of the social media rat race, because that is where a lot of you are right now, right? I always compare social media, as much as I love social media, FYI, my colleagues, my peers, my tribe, you guys, if it wasn't for social media, I wouldn't know you and I wouldn't be able to be teaching you right now. So I love social media. However, I don't love the position that a lot of coaches and service professionals get themselves in when they come on social media and they start to grow their business. So I always compare it to this. It seems as if all the coaches, okay, just think of a sea or a lake. Think of a lake, right? And this is what all on social media is to me right now. All the coaches is sitting there with their fish hooks, okay? And everybody got the fish hooks in the water, and you just hoping that the fish is going to land on yours, okay? So it's like, pick me, pick me, pick me. Everybody, pick me. I'm the one to go. Don't listen there. Listen to me. That rat race right there, man, that's a lot, okay? One of the reasons why I created the marketing and message formula was specifically to get myself out of that rat race, okay? And so if those are the things that you want, the first thing you have to do is understand how to step into premium positioning. Because when you start to step into premium positioning, people see you differently. They step to your brand differently. They get like people come to me ready. Okay. I have people that message me and they're like, listen, Yala, I want to work with you in March of 2019. I'm getting my money together and you're going to hear from me in 2 months. Because that to me, that's somebody that already sees me and sees me as a premium coach. So they already know what's up. And that's how you want to be. Okay. Now, if you don't know what you're teaching, then obviously you can't position yourself as premium, because premium also means being able to provide results. Okay. It also means being able to provide results. So you can't take $10,000 and then you can't teach someone what they need to know to get the results that they're buying. Does that make sense, guys? Give me a 2 in the chat box if that makes sense. All right. So that's the reason why you want to jump into premium positioning. Here's the first mistake that a lot of people make. Number one, hey, Madeline, darling. Hey, Angela. I just said this to someone not less than 20 minutes ago. Girl. Okay. So here's the first mistake that people are making. And you guys may be making this, but it's all right, because that's why we're listening. That's why we're here today. So we can figure out where we're making our mistakes and start to change it right now. All right. So the first mistake that some of you may be making is that you automatically go for the lower price. So when you are creating your coaching programs or you're packaging a new service, you automatically go for the lower price. All right. And I'm going to give you an example, because a lot of companies do that. But I want to give you an example because I want you to visualize what that looks like to your client, so you can see why they're probably not choosing you. Okay. So as much as they love you, as much as they like you, they're investing elsewhere. And this, I'm going to give you the example. So when you're going to get car insurance, right? And you go online and you put in car insurance and your zip code, the first thing you see is a whole bunch of companies saying we have the lowest price. Okay. Some of them, when you go to their website, they actually tell you, if you find another company that gives you a lower quote, we'll match them. How many of you have seen service companies say that to you? Or you go on their website and you see that, right? Like, we'll match the best price. That is an example of you positioning yourself where people are going to be making a decision based on price instead of based on value, instead of based on the results that you bring as a coach. Does that make sense? I try to find the right example for you guys, but does that make sense? Okay. And so this is not the position that you want to be in. And so that's why you don't want to automatically just go with lower prices. If you know that you're an expert, if you know that you put in the time and the investment to get education, to be able to do what you do, stand by that. All right. So don't automatically feel like you have to lower your price. Again, I know that a lot of people come into this industry because I did the same thing. And again, what did I say in the beginning? I'm telling you what I wish I knew. Not exactly what I did. Not exactly what I did, but what I wish I knew, right? Because when you come in and you start to charge lower price, it's going to be harder to step into premium positioning. So you want to start out at premium positioning, okay? So that's the first mistake that a lot of you may be making. The second mistake that you guys are making is you're focusing on being better instead of being different. Write that down. Write that down. You're focusing on being better instead of being different. Okay. And this one, it may step on some toes, but y'all got to hear this. Guys, when I first came into this coaching space, in this expert space, I feel like I was focusing on being better. Like if that person graphics was better, I had to try to top that. It even got to the point where I remember I would give the people on Fiverr that was creating my little social media, Instagram graphics for me, I would give them other people's photos and be like, I want something like this, but make it better. Come on now. Don't tell me y'all didn't do that before. Okay. So it's like we get this thing where we have to be better instead of focusing on how to differentiate ourselves. And what you really should be focused on is how you be different, how to be different. Because I feel like focusing on how to be better is why a lot of people spend their time on the parts of the brand that's not really important. Okay. So like focusing on having the best pictures, focusing on, I need to make sure my brand looks expensive. I know a lot of people who brand looks like crap and make a whole lot of money, right? So just hear me out. Okay. Hear me out, because for some of you, this is going to have to be a shift of mindset, because you guys have been brainwashed so much with how this whole expert space on social media works that some of you can't even see, because you actually think that paying attention to how the brand looks is the most important thing, instead of paying attention on how to make your services more valuable and differentiating yourself from other people. Your focus should always be being different, not being better. Now, here's where I'm going to step on some toes. There may be some of you right now who does what I do, okay? I don't know if that was proper English, but you do what I do, okay? And what I mean is you teach marketing, you teach messaging, you teach people how to generate leads, you work with coaches, and you're here, right? There may be never a time that you're going to be better than me, but you're definitely going to be different. You definitely can bring value. You see what I'm saying? Because there's some people who's already on top in your industry where you're not going to be better. That's the reality. So don't strive to be better. Strive to be different. Does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense? Strive to be different. So those are the two mistakes that I feel a lot of coaches make. And I hope that me sharing this with you will, get you to refocus where you need to refocus. So let's talk about where you need to focus, okay? So what are the 6 places where you need to focus so you can step into premium positioning? So number 1, sell the experience, not the service. So number 1, sell the experience, not the service, okay? So a lot of times as service professionals, we focus on what we can do. We focus on what we know and what we can teach. But a lot of people, most people buy the experience. And I want to give you a really good example when it comes to that. I want you to think of a coffee shop. Right around the corner from my house, there's this coffee shop. It's called Bob's. And it's a Chinese brand, but they do like breakfast. And whenever you go in there, there's older people that would be in there, like the old men, right? And they're sitting there and they're having their morning coffee with their newspaper. It smells of old cigarettes. And it's the coffee shop. It's the neighborhood coffee shop. And then you have another coffee shop like Starbucks. When you go in there, it's clean, it's airy, you can sit down, you can open up your laptop. I want you to think of both of these people, which sells the same product but provides different experiences. Okay. And the reason why you could walk into the neighborhood coffee shop and get a coffee for $1, but you got to go in Starbucks and you're going to pay $6, $5 minimum for a good cup of coffee is really because of the experience. Does that make sense, guys? Give me a yes in the chat box if that makes sense. It's really because of the experience, but I could go even further, and I don't want to confuse you guys, but this is how excited I get when I talk about this stuff because this is my area of expertise. But I could go even further and tell you that both of these companies would still make money because they know who they serve. And that's actually number two. Number two that I have here is get very clear on who your ideal client is, right? Because for the neighborhood coffee shop, they still got their customers coming in every day because the old people who love to sit down with their newspaper and their cigarettes, that is the experience that they prefer. And so that's why they go there. And then the younger people who want to be able to sit down with their laptop, get on the Wi-Fi, maybe take some pictures, hang out with their college friends, Starbucks is a better experience for them. So I am not saying that if you are not stepping into premium positioning, that means that you are not going to be able to make money as a coach, because you got to be clear on who your ideal client is. Does that make sense? I just kind of mixed up one and two, right? So number one, you got to focus on the experience, all right? Focus on the experience and not the service that you're selling. But then also two, you got to be really clear on who your ideal client is. So I'm going to give you an example for that one. I have my client Stephanie, and I love using this example because a lot of people fall into status quo. So when Stephanie first came, one of her biggest struggles was creating a high ticket program because she was a credit consultant. And in the credit industry, there's like a norm that people pay every month for credit services. And she felt like she could not create a high ticket program because of the norm in her industry. And we started to dig into number two, which is who is your ideal client? And we realized that there was a specific group of people in her industry who would rather pay for premium service. Okay. And when we thought about that, we figured out that real estate, so she provides services for real estate investors, right? And if you really think about it, real estate investors are more prepared and in the market for funding, in the market for creating business credit, in the market for those things. Make sense? So once she made a small tweak to who that ideal client was, she was able to create premium positioning and packaging. Make sense, guys? Does that make sense? Okay, yes. Okay, good. Y'all got it. So I got a little excited. So let me recap so that way you guys can stay with me. So number one, sell the experience, not the service. Number two, get very clear on who your ideal client is, because before you want to waste time to create services, package offers, create challenges, do all this stuff and it falls on deaf ears, you got to be very clear on who that ideal client is, because you can't create for them. You can't reposition yourself to speak to them if you don't know who they are. So that's number two. Number three, oh, this one is good. Focus on your client's emotions. Focus on the emotions and not the features. Okay, so first we said focus on the experience and not the service. Now I'm saying focus on the emotion. All right, focus on the emotion and not the feature. So here's what I mean by that. Back in the days when I first started in network marketing, what we was about was selling products as well as signing up distributors. And I remember that when I used to get on the phone with these moms, I would always talk about the money, because for me, I needed money. So I just assumed that's what people, that's what attracted people. So when I would get on the phone with them, I'll be like, oh, well, it's soon as you join, within the first 90 days, you're going to get the $10,000 bonus. If you sell this amount of products in the first 90 days, you get this big bonus. And that's what I used to position, my service or my product as, right? So people can buy into what I was saying. And I remember one day this mom, because it was moms that I would target, she turned around in the phone and she said to me, okay, so you're saying that if I invest this $500 today, it's going to take me 90 days for me to see a return? And I wasn't really saying that, but for some reason, that's what she heard, okay? And it raised, like a light bulb went on for me, because I realized that what I was saying was not really what people cared about. Does that make sense? Like, people really buy through emotions, right? And so it would have been better if I had positioned joining the company because you'll finally be able to leave your job, or you'll be able to supplement your income enough to be able to spend more time with the kids, to be able to do more of the things that you want to do with the kids, because that's really how people buy. They buy through emotions. But what we do wrong is we focus on features. So as coaches, you focus on how many calls you're going to get in the package, how many modules you're going to get in the course, how many bonuses you're going to get when you order, right? However, that's not necessarily what makes people buy. And I'm going to go deeper into that in a minute and share with you what are some of the emotions that make people buy, and you'll be really surprised. Like, I could literally do a whole training on this, but I'm going to give you a couple because you'll really be surprised. Listen, I heard this from my sales training. I joined a couple years back, Dan Locke's training. And one of the things he always said is that people buy through emotions, but they justify through logic. Okay. So what that means is that when you're selling your service and you're getting on these strategy sessions, people want to solve that problem. People want what comes from the result, not necessarily the result, but what comes from the result. However, when they get to the logical side of their brain, that's when they start thinking of price. That's when they start weighing out, oh, so you're charging me $10,000 and I'm only getting 12 calls. So that means that I'm paying this amount for this call. That's logic. Does that make sense? That's logic. So for some of you, this is a little advanced, but at the end of the day, you need to know this, because if you don't know why people buy, how can you position your products, your services, your marketing to get people to take action? So it's really important that you understand the emotional triggers as to why people buy your service. So if you are a health coach, you're not selling, the personal training package or the nutritional package. What you're selling is the confidence, okay? What you're selling is the emotion, the peace of mind that I'm going to get to live longer to be with my kids. The peace of mind that, I'm not going to get a disease like diabetes or something that's keep me bedridden, right? It's a lot deeper than just your nutritional package. So you got to really pay attention to that, okay? And I want you guys to give me a 1 in the chat box. Hi, Alicia. Hey, darling. I want you guys to give me a 1 in the chat box if you understand that one right there, because that one is really important. All right. So recap one more time. Number 1, sell the experience, not the service. Number 2, get very clear on who your ideal client is. Number 3, focus on your client's emotions and not your features. Okay. So we got 3 more. Number 4, differentiate yourself from your competitors. So remember, I told you one of the biggest mistakes that some of you guys are making is you're focusing on being better instead of focusing on being different. Okay. It's harder to focus on being better because you're in a market that's saturated and there's people who've been here putting in the work way before you. So you're giving yourself harder work trying to be better, be different. How do you be different? By becoming an authority, by creating your own processes, by growing and taking leadership in your own communities, by being consistent with the problem that you solve, being consistent with the person that you help. So these are, I could keep going. But yeah, you have to differentiate yourself. And these are some of the ways that you do that. Okay. Number 4, we talked about understanding why people buy. Did I miss one? Hold on. Make it. Oh no, I didn't miss one. I'm on track. So we're at number 5 now. So number 5 is understand what makes people buy, right? And what I said to you before is that most people buy through emotion. So if you continue to focus on your features, that's the reason why they're not, seeing you as a premium and they're not buying, right? So I want to give you examples, a couple examples of why people buy, and this is going to blow your mind, but it's going to make sense for you when you hear this. Number 1, people buy because they want to portray an image. Some people, and now, like I said, I could give you a whole training on the different emotional triggers why people buy, but I'm going to give you the 2 main ones. Number 1, people buy because they want to portray an image. Okay. And so they want people to see them in a certain way, or they want to feel in a certain way, and they want to portray an image. And it's like when I was in dance hall. Okay. So you guys are learning about me, about you getting some transparency. So I used to be a promoter. Okay. So my family is from the West Indies, originally from Trinidad and Tobago, the beautiful islands. And I used to be a promoter when I first came from New York into Philly, and I would throw dance hall parties. And what that means is I was in a club every night, giving out my flyers, putting it on people's cars, you can make some good money throwing parties. And one of the things in the West Indian culture, when you go to these parties, is that everybody dressed like they're going to prom. I swear to you, when you go to American clubs, everybody look good, but they chill. But when you go to West Indian parties, it's like prom every weekend, okay? And I remember getting dresses and putting the tag on the inside because I had to portray an image. I remember doing consignment for bottles, right? Like not having the money, but doing consignment. I'm listening to portray an image. To portray an image because I had to look like I was a big time promoter so more people can want to come to my parties. Do you understand? How many of you ever seen that show, Keeping Up with the Joneses? Give me a yes if you guys seen that show before. The reason why that family was able to make money is because everybody wanted to portray an image. All right. And I told you that this will blow your mind, but it's so real. You got to understand why people buy. Here's another reason why people buy: to fit in with the community. Okay. Some people, they, feel good being a part of the in crowd, right? And so they invest because they want to be a part of the in crowd, which is cool. Like I said, I could give you so many reasons why people buy. Everybody's different. What drives them is different. But what I will tell you is people buy through emotion. They don't care about your calls. They don't care about your training sessions. They don't care about your downloads. They don't care about none of that. They care about what they're going to get, that emotion behind why they are buying. And here's the third reason why. Most people, majority of people buy because they want a peace of mind. And so when you know how to, number 1, create premium products, right? Because the price is always the first thing that someone looks at. If you got cheap products, please don't think people are going to see you as premium. See, you see, what did I say in the beginning? You charge cheap, you already look cheap. So even if you're a great coach, people don't think so. And that's why they're not buying. All right. So the first thing is you got to change the price. But then the second thing is you got to change the position and how you're positioning it. So don't focus on, all what comes with your packages. Focus on the emotion and the reason why your clients want that particular result that you provide. Okay. And here's my last one before I leave you guys. Here's my last one. Make sure that your goals align with your price. Make sure that your goals align with your price. So this is another big one. There's so many people that when they get on calls with me, I ask them, What is your low and your high number? And a lot of times will people be like, if I could just make $5,000, I'll be good. And then some people would say, if I could just make $10,000, I'll be good, right? If I could make $10,000 a month, I'll be good. Then I say, okay, so let's talk about what you're selling. What are you selling? They'll give me a rundown. Oh, well, I'm selling this program. Okay, how much is the program? Oh, it's $197. Automatically, I'm like, this is what I wish I knew that would have saved me time. Because if you're selling a $200 product to make $10,000, that means that you really got to focus on more traffic, growing a bigger community. You know, you got a lot of work to do. But if you create a premium signature service with the price aligning, you could literally get 1 or 2 clients and make $10,000. So you can't say, well, these are my goals, but the prices don't align. It don't match. And again, I gave you the example of the coffee shop in Starbucks because I don't want to, make it seem like if I'm saying selling digital products don't work. I have some friends that are millionaires selling digital products. But when you go to their communities, they have over 400,000 followers. They have over 100, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 30,000 leads. So you got to start looking at that, guys. This is the choice that you got to decide. My ideal clients want to be paid what they're worth. My ideal clients don't want to compete on price. My ideal clients want to be seen as a coach that provides a signature service, a coach that provides a transformational experience. And if that is you, then your price has to align. Does that make sense? If that is you, then your price has to align. Because if it doesn't, that's the reason why the perception is that I could go and get it from somewhere else. And understand that if you say that you want a more committed client, please understand that people who are committed actually look for the higher price. Because that is the level of service they want. Does that make sense? Now, people who justify by price, meaning, when they say, I need to go shopping, right? I need to go shopping. And the first thing they decide, I used to be like this, so I could say it, no shade. I remember back in the days, I'm like, I need to go shopping. All right. We going to Foreman Mills. That used to be the first stop. Why? Because I know that I could go in there and spend $100 and Asia and Ryan gonna come out with a good bit of things. They gonna shrink on the next wash, but right? People who are always shopping for the lower thing, when you have the lower price, that's who you're attracting. Does that make sense? When you have the lower price, that's what you're attracting. All right. So make sure that your goals and your price aligns. All right. Okay, guys, let's go through this one more time. And then I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys for today. So I'm giving you 6 things that you can do to step into premium positioning today. Number one, I'm all mixed up, but here we go. Number 1, sell the experience, not the service. Number 2, get clear on who your ideal client is. Okay. Number 3, focus on the client's emotions and not your features. Number 4, understand what makes people buy. And I'm going to come back with more content this week to talk about that one. So understand why people buy. Number 5, differentiate yourself from your customers, okay? From your competitors, sorry, okay? And number 6, make sure your goals and your prices align. Those are the 6 things that you could do right now to step into premium positioning, okay? Now, if you are someone who wants help with this, I am the person to help you. So I'm the coach that helps you put together signature services, find your message, differentiate yourself through stepping into premium positioning and authority. Okay. And so we do that by first helping you lay down a solid foundation, and then two, helping you implement a system. So like I said to you in the beginning, whenever I trace it back, when coaches come and tell me I'm struggling with getting clients, or I'm struggling with getting consistency, or I'm attracting the wrong people, I'm hearing a lot of no's, I got to speak to my husband, right? When people say that to me and I trace it back, it's always one or two things: lack of foundation or lack of system. Okay. And so if you're someone who's you're ready for that, then I'm going to go ahead and leave my link below so you guys can book an appointment. So, we can have a chat and see how I can help you in stepping into premium positioning. Okay. The next thing that I want to leave with you guys is the Master Your Marketing Summit. We're about 15 days away. We get started on February 17th. If you have not registered yet, you're crazy. It's free. Okay. Not only that, we have the best speakers that is here to serve you. Okay. So I'm asking you to register so you can take part of the 5-day summit we have coming up. And I'm also asking you to share it with a friend. Okay. So help us spread the word for this summit. All right. All right, guys. This has been another Monday Marketing Monday with Niala. I hope that you have enjoyed. Let me know below, how did you enjoy today? Did you get value? Let me know below. Did you get value from this? And I will see you guys again in a few days. Okay. Bye.